Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our panelists discussing expanding reach, connecting with real-world audiences for smarter insights.
Well, hello everyone. Thanks for staying in for our panel. We've had some amazing presentations today, and I think a lot of them will play directly into our conversation. My name is Heather Hughes. I'm SVP of Data Solutions at Syno International, and I'm joined with some amazing humans up here today. So if you'd like to go through some introductions now.
Happily, well, thank you. My name is Megan Opitz. I do business development at Republica. We offer everything from survey tool, panel management technology, behavioral tools, dashboards, a lot of research technology, and we serve clients within the market research space such as Kantar, Ipsos, and Gallup, and then also several non-market research communities that we'll talk about today. Everything from retail to telecom to insurance. Yeah, happy to be here.
Wonderful. And I'm Katie Nelson. I'm with Kashkick. We're US-based, and we're a community of users in which we pay them for doing things that they already participate in, such as mobile gaming, shopping, taking part in fintech offers, or surveys.
Thank you. Brett Larson from Rakuten Insight. I come from 10 minutes down the street here in Los Angeles. I'm the US product manager for Rakuten Insight, and I come from the forefronts of building our US panel over the last 3 years since I've joined the company. Rakuten Insight is one small corner of the Rakuten ecosystem. We have over 70 different products and solutions that serve over 1 billion users globally. So excited to talk about how we can better incorporate those users and build upon their insights.
Yeah, that's great. So just setting the stage, I think we'll start with a challenging question. So what are some of the challenges that you come across engaging respondents that come from sort of a non-traditional research space?
Well, to zoom out and really paint a big picture here, if you think about just your normal experience day to day, we have so much more access to media and consumption of this media than we have ever had before. And the pace of it has accelerated so much. So when we are asking respondents to take a survey, we're asking them to give up their time from everything else that they have going on in their lives to give a quality response. And I think that what we've heard already today, some of those topics have been really important to addressing this challenge, but we'll dive deeper in this conversation.
Yeah, and for us, with a community with so many activities, and as we've seen from other people, how do you diversify? And so from that diversification is also education. And how do you educate somebody that, no, this is not a guaranteed complete? Yes, you might screen out. And we saw Michael present the 25% likelihood of someone not coming back for every screen out. So working on that education, but then keeping that trust for a community, again, in which is meeting you for what you're already doing and where you should be, but now how do we have you come back? So trust and education for us.
User experience is so critical to what we do. So when we have a double opt-in panel of users that have signed up knowing that they're going to take market research surveys, they know what's going on. They're literate in what is going to be expected of them when they take a survey. It's really improving upon that experience when we try to catch them outside of double opt-in experiences by improving the platforms in which they take the survey. And when you get screened out on 4 out of 5 surveys, it's challenging.
For sure. Well, how are insights gathered from these sort of non-traditional research community really reflective of real-world behaviors?
I would say that we're starting to meet them where they are, right? People are coming into game because they want an escape from their everyday. They want a form of entertainment, and they want moments of joy. And so being able to create a moment of joy and entertainment for somebody is really important to have them come back to us. So while they're there for a main purpose and to capture them in that moment, so we're meeting them where they are. So what we're seeing is lower fraud scores, higher engagement, and then the retention piece of it.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning joy. So how many in the room have regularly take market research surveys to, kind of make sure that we're having our own medicine from time to time? Great, happy to see that. And so you're familiar with the experience. How many of you have earned a complete within the last month taking a market research survey? Okay, and then how many of you have been surprised or delighted by some aspect of the market research survey experience? I think that is something coming from restaurant marketing, having delicious food to offer people. It makes surprise and delight a little bit easier, exceeding people's expectations. We have a really difficult fight when it comes to exceeding people's expectations and creating surprise and delight with market research survey environment.
Exactly. The only thing I would add to that very quickly is just that sense of community, not just targeting one person and having a relationship with one panel member, but making them feel a part of a whole, I think is also quite important.
Yeah, and I think that ties very well into my next question, which is how do you avoid sort of panel fatigue? And obviously, if people are experiencing joy with the experience, that's going to keep and retain them longer. But what are some other strategies that you guys use?
Gamification. So Michael just talked about it, and also Tyler before that. Those are perfect segues to what we're talking about on stage here. I think we're the people that are at the forefront working with these panelists each and every day, reading their inquiries, reading their comments on social media, and to fight panel fatigue, gamification, give them something else to come back for, give them community. Because the economics of our industry, it's really difficult to just force it through monetary incentive alone.
And with us, we're seeing it with our mobile games that the users are able to participate in. It is a form of escape. We do one-on-one interviews with our audience to hear what aspects that they like. And a lot of them do say, I want to unwind. I want to relax. And to do that, again, finding those joys and those pieces of it really allows us to say, oh, by the way, do you want to take a survey while you're here? And so we're able to insert ourselves in a moment of truth and then ask for attention. And I think that's a big difference too, is because when you're playing and you're having fun, you might be watching Breaking Bad with your second glass of wine because the baby's already down, but now you have to focus on the survey, otherwise you're a screen out because you missed a question because of, a drug lord. So I think you have to drug lord. I think that switch of, okay, this is easy, I'm able to do it, but still asking for true attention, not divided attention.
I think this is really, really important. You do have to meet the consumer or the respondent where they're at. We too have a really gamified panel member experience that's paired with a robust back end. So we have the best of both worlds. But to take it a step further, when you have captured that panel member's attention and you've sent them that survey, make it relevant. We have the power with double opt-in panels to collect so much first-party data. And when you have all of that data, then you're going to send a very personalized survey. And by that, it's, okay, you have this respondent. You've seen that they've answered 20 questions about cars. So you have a tracker study about cars. They should be taking that study. And making sure that you're pairing the data with that respondent experience and the actual quality of the content that you're giving them.
No, I totally agree. I mean, being in the data world just in general, the connected data, all of that makes the respondent experience so much better. And then I think with gamification and that as well, do you think these are good strategies to mitigate bias as well when you're recruiting?
Yeah, we've seen it because you're casting such a wide net, and the offers that you have are not going to speak to everybody. So you'll have your whales with the surveys, but then you'll have yours that do all of the games and take part in some of the offers and want to do the shopping and get the cash back. And so when you are able to meet them when they're ready and available and in a space that they have now trust for, they have redemption and real money in their account for, and now they're saying, okay, I'll give you a chance. I think because that's a real person based off of all their actions, and we weren't shoving, take a survey, take a survey, take a survey. It's now an organic, let me see what else I could do.
And when I hear this, for us, it's a lot about time. So you have the speed, quality, time triangle. And to really make sure that you have like a really distributed audience and you're really engaging all types of respondents, sometimes you do need more time for field work. And I think that this is something that you can't expect fast action all the time. And when you're able to extend your timeline, then perhaps you get a better distribution.
That's perfect. And kind of my next question, especially from sort of a global perspective, is how do you guys address the incentive issue? Because all of these things, tie directly into this issue that we see across the space. So I'd love to hear some more about that.
I'm the US product manager. So I am here in Los Angeles. I'm an American. I'm native in the local language and the local culture. We have local panel managers in all of the regions, and in most cases in the countries that we're in, that are watching after the best interests of the users. We're the last line of defense when it comes to our users. We're the protectors. So, there's a lot of business interests that are at times at odds with the interests of the users. So when it comes to incentives, having people that are there that know from firsthand experience what they want, what their friends want, what their family want, it really helps inform what incentives we offer.
I would say from our point of view, if anyone has downloaded the app, you will see you could earn hundreds of dollars with playing with our games. And then I'm like, hello, 20 minutes for 97 cents. That's pretty low at the list for our algorithms, but still I can't compete with a $500 game incentive, right? And so for us, having that incentive is definitely important, and this is where we're working in, to your point, the surprise and delight. Where could we find other moments of joy and know that our screen out is 1 in 4, 1 in 5. So how could we inject, if you might see, that 15 cents for that 5 minute, is it worth it for your time? Where you can, again, go and play your game and have your levels up and get paid for each level, get your fintech and get your money back, do your shopping, get your cash back, and here's your 20 minutes study. Yeah. So for us, we're really finding the right way to put moments of joy in that we're able to play with like a bigger margin of, can we create value on the front end to have a longer tail than for the user and increase then their lifetime value, which thank you, Michael, for the equation. That's going to be fun to look at.
Amazing.
So from the European perspective, although I'm American, from the European perspective, we actually have really good retention of our panel members. This has been the case for a long time in the region. And we have panel members who stay, of course, for a few weeks, but also several years. And part of this has to do with the fact that we do select a specific respondent for a specific survey that's intended for them. And I think that this provides value to that relevancy topic. But beyond that, again, you have a panel member who has started to take a survey, they screen out. This is normal. But as a panel member provider, you should do something to recognize the efforts of their time. So within our technology, our clients can decide what they set as incentive levels in general, and they can decide if they're going to incentivize every action, every completed survey, whatever that looks like for them. But beyond that, with a panel member experience, it is gamified. So you're going to get the stars, you're going to get the special levels. And I know that it sounds silly, but I'm on Peloton. I do this all the time. When I get my star, I am incentivized. I do think, like, okay, I'm going to come back tomorrow and go again. So I think that we really do need to come to that panel member with a really relevant survey, with a really fun experience that's so engaging that they want to be there, surprise and delight, we talk about it, but then have robust data on the back end to do it.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And then within this gamification joy space, how do you address the challenge of finding diverse audiences? I'll pick you, Brett.
Okay. So finding audiences is all about user acquisition and about sourcing. So having diverse acquisition channels, a recent really great acquisition campaign out of our Thailand office utilized an influencer to highlight the benefits of our program in a natural way. It wasn't shoving it in the face of the viewer as, you know, this is best practices for TikTok. And it resulted in a huge influx of new users. And while they are concentrated with a certain age band, perhaps, they are diverse within that age band.
That's fantastic. And I think TikTok is such a great channel to bring in those new users across the board.
Do you want to go ahead? Okay. This reminds me of one of our clients. It's a university in Germany, and they have a mental health panel. And when I heard this, I thought, okay, university students, mental health. But what I found out was it was a panel from the university, and because it was a purpose-driven panel about something that people find very relevant and want to help with, it actually was from young to old people who were part of the panel. And I think that that is a great example of tying in the power of community and purpose and engaging different types of respondents, because then you do have a wider distribution.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and I would say representation of seeing yourself within that community. So we work with a lot of influencers, publications where we write specific content. We work in programmatic, we work with affiliates. We have a team of about 7 to 9 on our user acquisition, and they spend a lot of time curating different content to make sure we're meeting a diverse group of users and that they're able to see themselves within our community.
That's great. All right, on to the next fun segment, data quality, which we all love to talk about. First question is, how do we ensure that we get better data quality when we're sourcing from these non-traditional spaces?
I'll start.
Okay.
So a quality tech stack is so important. For us, within our panel management solution, we have a lot of quality technology embedded, but like everyone in this room, we also use different technology partners to add on to it. And I think that that's just an ever-evolving, not necessarily challenge, but opportunity for us to really make sure that we are on the forefront of quality. Beyond that, we have a team that does a lot of manual checks to make sure that the data is very, very rich, and we do some best practices with our clients. But I think that I'm a big proponent that quality data is king, and so it's worth investing in.
At Rakuten, the Rakuten Group processes millions, billions of dollars of transactions on our e-commerce platform. So we heavily invest in anti-fraud teams to protect those transactions. So what we try to do is adapt some of those solutions that are made for e-commerce, fintech, to be able to apply them to market research. So when we're reviewing a user, when they are trying to redeem points, trying to adapt solutions from other success stories in other verticals. And there's a lot of success stories about marketplace solutions, people that are in attendance today, fintech, KYC, that are becoming more readily available to market research panels. And it's really helping us to keep pace with the ever-evolving fraud front. And one thing I'll add is, I don't think, especially as somebody at the forefront, you should always also be doing manual checks.
Yes.
This is how you can remain sharp. And if I am not doing that, if I don't understand the novel threat patterns, I may not be able to detect all of them, so we need to use research tools to, tech solutions to strengthen our human abilities. But I don't think manual checks will ever go away, and I don't think they should.
I agree. I don't think they should either. They definitely are strengthening the systems that we have in place and making sure that the false positives are as low as possible and retweaking the system as needed. Us too, we come from a non-traditional research background, and so we are in performance marketing and advertising. So we have the advertising, security and fraud pieces in place, and because we have so much different activity that we're watching the user's behavior as they go about in the app on the website that we have, and understanding, are you flicking through and trying to go quickly, or are you being quality and following through on either that fintech offer or that donation offer or within a game. Because if someone's going to be starting 5, 7 games and then coming and starting some surveys, that's not a typical behavior. So looking for those signals and making sure that we're able to take action for all of our asset, not just within the survey piece of it.
No, that totally makes sense. And then along those same lines, I mean, what tech and trends are you, like, it could be AI, of course, the special world that we hear all the time now. Do you see really in the recruiting and in the data quality space?
For quality control?
Yeah.
So new tech tools?
Yeah.
Yeah, so fintech solutions, some of the attendees, the solution providers that are here at SampleCon, there's providers that are here for the first time that haven't really served our industry yet, and I think we can really benefit from their tools. You know, automated ID verification compared to a selfie, device level checks to make sure users aren't using anti-detect browsers. The level of sophistication that you can shake out from these manual checks it really makes you understand who you're up against, and so you understand what weapons you need to use to protect yourself as well.
I think it was Andrew Harvey from he's here, and he said a while ago, if fraudsters spent any time trying to solve cancer, we would be cancer-free in this world.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, like for us then, where are we looking? One, we're looking for new recruitment sources. Then is that pool poisoned, and can we make sure that we're not in that anymore? Two, then fine-tuning our algorithms, working with our advertisers on their ROAS and what are they seeing, and working with then our gamification and within the surveys and getting feedback. And I think for us, we're programmatic only. We don't do any manual bids or any manual processes. So if we get into that black box of, hey, we don't know, then what is a piece of technology that we could bring in so we do know in asking before, like, what happened? Because now it's like 3 or 5 partners removed. No one had an answer for me, and then 45 days later, I had to be Karen, like, what is going on? Because I can't solve the problem if someone tells me there was a quality issue. I didn't see it in any of my other data reports. How could I ingest this into my algorithms to make them smarter? But I need that feedback loop. So sometimes what's old is new again.
Absolutely. I think standard processes like SMS verification, doing ID verification, all of these things do add a lot of value, especially when you're having quality challenges. But also for some of our clients, because they are a non-market research community, so like a retailer, we have the ability to collect different types of data and match it with what we have. So if you have like a transactional ID number or a member number, then you're able to connect that with the profiling data to some capacity. And I think that this extra element of behavioral data is also really important to making sure that your audience is part of your community, they are who they say they are, and it helps with data quality.
You're speaking my language here, Megan. I love this. Connected data. Yeah, and to that point too, and I know, when we met earlier, we had this conversation, the hidden costs that are associated with poor data, or just issues in actual feasibility. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that secret little, you think you have 500 people that can answer this, and either maybe you don't, or it's poor quality, so you're throwing out a lot of those responses.
I mean, really easy example. Say we have a panel, and we believe it's a good quality panel. You want to buy sample from our panel. You have a great client that you want to deliver the best quality to make sure that they can make a really smart brand decision. You come to us, and unfortunately, we don't, in this example, have a good quality panel. Then you're sitting there and you're thinking, first, how am I going to deliver on this project and my reputation so I can get more work with this client? All of this is going to matter so much, and that's absolutely not what we do and not what we want our experience to be. Instead, it's saying, okay, we really do have a quality pool of panel members that you can trust and you can count on, so you can keep buying from us. And then your reputation is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
All ships rise. Yeah.
Yeah, the other part of the equation that Michael put up on the board is it's the cost associated with user acquisition, engagement, and retention. So as a part of that, if we're adding third-party quality control solutions as well, it's just eating another part of the pie. And then when we talk about the finite resource of the user time, we're in a game that's as competitive as I think it's ever been in my marketing background. We have a finite resource of the user's time that they're using interacting with their device. And we're up against some really strong competitors. TikTok, they invest so much money into making sure that their experience is addictive and keeps the user there as long as possible.
Yeah.
So I don't think market researchers have the ability to invest that much in making an addictive experience, but we can learn lessons from them. And we need to have a really strong value proposition to our users in order to make them come to our platforms. They need to complete surveys so that they fulfill their goal of earning money, or we need to reward them in other ways with surprise and delight, with other opportunities, games, and monetizing their time while they're there on our platform while still respecting them also is a big part.
Yeah, and talking about social media and recruiting, I mean, what trends have you seen in your personal experience, using social media to recruit? And if you use AI in that process too, speak to us a little bit about that.
I'm not sure for us personally if our UA team is using AI. I will bring back that question. Because I don't know, I think it's probably new. But to that point is making sure that there's clear expectation of ROAS that's going to happen. Again, the diversification in which we're sharing content and media. We also are casting a very wide net. And so we want to be ready for when new social media platforms come out, new apps come out, new publications. So as there's trends that emerge, that we are right on top of it and we're able to lean into those trends right away, whether it be a pop craze that is taking place that everybody is making a meme with, or if it's a new, again, way to communicate with friends, be it whatever social platform it might be.
We utilize Rakuten advertising. It's a performance marketing part of our ecosystem. We can keep some of our ad spend within the ecosystem, so there are those benefits. And they have very strong standing not only in the US as they acquired the link share business, but in APAC as well. So riding that wave, at Rakuten we have a initiative to utilize AI to increase our marketing, our operations, and our client efficiency by 20%. So it's central to everything that we do. It's a mandate that we're measured against.
And then for us, because our technology has the ability to be customizable to our clients' needs, and we want to make sure that we're going to meet the user where they're at, that's where we put our focus. So if we have a client that says we're going to be recruiting through these different ways, channels, that's kind of how we can develop the technology, test it on a small scale, and then roll it out from there. But it's really most important is thinking about where are those members going to be and how can we then invite them to be part of the community in a way that makes sense.
Well, that totally makes sense. And then, because I want to leave a couple minutes for questions, what are a couple tips, actionable tips that you give to the audience today?
I will start. So I already shared some of them. First, quality data is king. Capture that first-party quality data. It's so important through a double opt-in panel. Second, it's about that engagement. So whether it is through the highest quality survey that you're giving to the panel member, gamification, whatever it is, make sure that your panel member is happy. They are the lifeline of your business. And third, because you have a really happy panel member and you have so much data and you have that for your community, then play and have fun with it. So then that's when you do connected data, behavioral data, and you can give them triggered relevant surveys, and then it's a flywheel effect. So it's a great opportunity to be in this place in the market, and there's a lot of growth.
Yeah, I would say moments of joy. How are you creating happiness? How are you creating connection? How are you creating surprise and delight? I would also say education and trust. Even though it could be joyful, I don't know you. I know playing my mobile game, I know this, but once you leave a Kashkick experience, I need them to trust me that it's going to come back to Kashkick and you're going to get paid. And then lastly, I would say survey design. We talked about everything that I can control, but we didn't talk about what I can't control. And so I could start to block, I could start to Karen up and go and speak with people, but to that point, it needs to be an overall change with that survey design so I don't have to work so hard at trust. So us as an industry don't have to work so hard at that trust.
Yeah, so quality control, use the most up-to-date solutions that make sense for your business, but don't forget about your manual checks. Those will always be there. Second is monetization. So we have to off-put the costs of acquiring these users, keeping them engaged. But we also, with surveys, can we cover the cost of that alone? And if we can't, we need to monetize the audience in other ways that still respects them and with their permission, of course, opt-in. Yep. And three is UX, user experience, and as to put a more specific pin in it, gamification. I would love to see a future where we can go to companies like Duolingo and say, we'd love for you to have surveys in your user flow and to not have them worry about the user experience. They have one of the best user experiences that I can think of. I'd love to be able to meet that standard.
For sure. Amazing, all great tips. And I think I just saw a note that says we're out of time. So thank you, everyone, for joining our panel today. And looking forward to hearing the next presentation.
Thank you.